About 500,000 people each year try to snowboard, and of course when you do something new, you have no idea what you're doing. So today, we're gonna be that beginner snowboarder, but we're gonna test how accurate the snowboard shop is, setting me up to my normal setup, how good a rental board is, and of course we actually wanna test the board in a couple different challenges. So let's see how good the snowboard really is. I wanna get a rental board, boots, and binding setup.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I'll make a computer right there.
Make sure you share all my information with the world. Your registration is complete. Done. Done. To make this challenge a little bit more interesting, we're gonna set some ground rules. Rule number 1, I cannot spend more than $65 on a board, boots, and binding setup. And yes, it's Colorado, it's expensive. Rule number 2, we're gonna try to make this as realistic as possible, and as a total beginner, I know nothing, so I will not be providing any of my height, weight, or snowboard preferences. This is either gonna go really well or really bad. Rule number 3, once I get this rental setup, I cannot make any adjustments to the board, boots, or bindings. It's like marriage. Once I'm committed, I'm committed. Rule number 4, I have to snowboard all the way till at least 2 o'clock, even if my feet are miserable, it's painful, and this board sucks. Oh boy, I got
like boots and everything as well?
board, boots, bindings. If you had jackets and pants, I would have rented that too.
Yeah, no, maybe so.
All right.
You want to just take a seat right there?
Okay.
You need it.
Okay, not. Yeah, so far, not bad. It's perfectly good. Cool. So far, boots are super soft. Toes touch the front a little bit, which is different for me. I usually wear mine a little bit bigger, so far, totally comfortable.
So what skill level?
Beginner.
Beginner?
Never done this before.
Ooh, let's go.
And as you come in, I filled out a bunch of paperwork and tell them exactly what my height, weight, size is, and level. My level is definitely beginner. I don't know where that is. Somewhere in here. Level 1. Suggested length. Skill level 1, size 8, suggested length.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Did he just call me goofy?
So these are twin boards, so they ride going the same direction even. So
Let's do it. We don't know how wild we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Let's go. Is this how I carry it? This is proper, right? Very proper.
Anything else I can help you out with?
That's it.
Awesome. Yeah, you are all good to go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Boom. $62. Thanks. Have a good one. So first off, customer service, super awesome. Great job, big shout out to these guys. As far as the setup, this is gonna be a little different than my traditional setup. Let's first talk about the board. This is a LTR, which stands for Learn to Ride. There's some technology in here that allows it to be easier for beginners to maneuver. The board is a little bit shorter than I'm used to by about 6 centimeters. This is a 145. Definitely gonna be good for a beginner snowboard to maneuver. Maybe not getting the performance I would usually get, but kind of expected on a beginner board. As an asterisk, you may get different quality calibers of boards. I would say this is more in the medium. It's definitely not a low end board. It's not a high end board, kind of in the middle. But if you're going to a shop, you may encounter higher end boards or lower end boards. So just be aware. Let's quickly talk about the difference between your normal bindings and rental bindings. First, there is some easy customization that's quick, such as being able to adjust the ankle strap. You pull this out, make an adjustment, super easy. And then your angles can quickly be adjusted by just pulling this lever up, just like this, and then you can twist it. It also allows you to interchange bindings really easily. All you gotta do is twist this, undo it, pop them in and out. Super easy for a rental shop to just customize it. If I want to make my stance a little bit wider, it's actually pretty challenging because I have to get a whole bunch of tools. So there is some customization. There's also some not customization in the rental bindings. To truly evaluate how awesome or not so awesome this snowboard is, I've set up 10 challenges and they're progressively gonna get harder and harder throughout the video. Okay, first things first, my friends say that this is a reverse camber board, which I haven't rode a reverse camber board in 10 years. Let's see if they're right. Oh boy, that is the wildest thing I've ever seen. This is gonna be sketchy. Now the sketchiest part about today is I've had 3 hip surgeries. My hip doesn't feel good, so I'm literally putting my life on the line, and hopefully we don't wreck my season when we do those 10 challenges. Now first, we're gonna see how well it does at just riding flat. Couple things that I'm noticing with this rental board, it is way slower than my normal board, which can be really good for a beginner because they don't want to go too fast. Number 2, how does it do flat? Perfectly fine. I was wondering if it would be a little sketchy with catching an edge or being like weird because of the contact points and the edges. Totally fine. I will say that the moment I tried to make a little maneuver like this, it is 1,000 times more responsive than my board. And to me, that feels super sketchy. So this is gonna be a wild day, I'll tell you right now. Look how sketchy that is. Okay, okay. This thing is harder to ride than I thought. Now riding that off-piste terrain, there's no integrity of this snowboard. So the moment I get a little off balance, my board wants to slip out. It is so hard to ride that terrain. And I'm used to like having a really strong base that I can go really far back and not have that problem. So I can tell you right now, that was a little bit more wild than I expected. And we're already 2 crashes in. It is so hard to ride that terrain. And I'm used to like having a really strong base that I can go really far back and not have that problem. So I can tell you right now, that was a little bit more wild than I expected, and we're already 2 crashes in. Now let's test carving. Carving is slice. Oh. Okay, well, carving is slicing the snow, and one thing I gotta worry about is booting out. Wow, okay. Ooh. Ooh. That's incredibly hard. How is the binding in boots set up? Well, the boots are super comfortable, slightly big for me, but it's not really a problem. The bindings are super comfortable as well and are really holding my foot in place, but the big issue is the bindings are not centered on the board and they favor the heel side edge, causing me to crash. And literally, this is the most I've crashed in the last 20 years. Now, let's test our switch riding. We're gonna be able to make some turns, see how it feels. My initial thought is the board really wants to like swing out just like that. Probably extremely useful if you're like learning how to turn. The board, you put in like 10% effort and you get a big like return on your investment, which can be really nice. But I could also see this be really challenging where if you don't control it, all of a sudden you're like spinning out of control and don't really know it. Switch rides, I am decent at switch riding for sure, but I don't think I have like the true agility and awareness to like push the limits of this board, especially with the struggles I've already had today and a bad hip. Can I ride switch? Yes. I see its benefit of being able to do a basic turn. So I'm gonna give this an 8 because of how easy it is for turning. I would give it a 3 for being able to charge because the board's not designed to charge at all. Okay, now we're gonna test some butters. So as far as butters, I can definitely feel like I don't have to put a lot of weight into the board. I barely have to shift to get a result, which I think is really cool if you're new to buttering. But there's a fine line of like pressing and then like too much, if that makes sense. That line is very thin. And I'm not walking the line. I feel like I'm running the line. Let's try a couple different variations of it. So I can go like backside. You can see how hesitant I am because of like the lack of integrity on this board. And I know these are not the most awesome butters you've ever seen. I totally get that. What about, ooh, wow. Also, when you go to like a beginner area and you see beginners just like leaning back and then they just slip out and fall, it totally makes so much sense right now. And as a beginner, you like tend to not know where that fine line is, and you can get scared and just like slip out rather easily and almost get hit by somebody. Okay, so as far as buttering, I'm gonna give it a 3 because it's so easy that it makes it hard to actually stay balanced and make it look good and strong and floaty and fun. I'm gonna give the butters a 3 for me. If you've never done butters, it's probably more like an 8, 9. Okay, let's go down and pull over. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like my life is on the line. I have not crashed this many times in the last 20 years of snowboarding. This is terrifying. Super easy to get in and on that thing. I feel like we're gonna have to try a front 3 out. Probably gonna be sketchy on this board. And I forgot that it is a 145, so this thing is like absolutely tiny. I'm gonna try a front 3 out. I gotta remember not to load up the tail, but rather use the reverse camber to help spin off. I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be good. Could be really cool. And it might be worth trying a tail press because it's so soft, but I also don't wanna die. We don't know. D50 to front 3 out. Hopefully we don't. Oh, the 360 out wasn't that bad. I feel like I understood that. It's the small board and the reverse camber stability on the landing, especially when it's firm, made it a little unpredictable. I feel like if I spent all day doing that, I think it'd be fine and I could really adjust and adapt to the board. Off the rip, a lot easier than a traditional camber board or a stiffer board that I'm used to. That was actually surprisingly fun and easy. Let's go. The next thing that we have on the list of things to do is some freestyle maneuvers. We're gonna start off with a 180. Now I'm gonna try to do 3 different 180s. One is gonna be flat ground, one is gonna be like a side hit small, and then one is gonna go like a lot bigger. So let's just see how it does in those different regards. We're gonna first start here, then we're gonna go over to the side a little bit. Okay, so just a normal heel side 180. Ooh, okay, okay. Let's try, I would say that was not as loaded as I would like and a lot spring. The landing was a little bit harder because the short wheelbase essentially. Let's do a frontside 180 kind of medium size, small. Okay. Not bad. You get a lot of like easy release off of the edge, which is nice. Let's go big. Frontside 180 kind of big. Ooh. Okay. That was a little bit harder than normal because I love to really exaggerate that spring off of the takeoff. And this board being soft and reverse camber and small, I can't put the energy into the board and get the same amount of energy out. So on the flat ground 180 for first learning it, I would give that probably an 8. For the medium 180, I would give that maybe a 5. And the last 180, I would give it a 5. Just because the instability, I feel like I can't really push hard. And then when I land, I just feel like I have to be 1000% perfect. And if I'm 1 degree off, I think it's just gonna be really hard. There's less room for error doing the 180s than what I'm used to. But the release of the edge, a lot easier, so for beginners, it's good. Now let's test going beyond the 180. Let's try to do a 360 in kind of the same pattern. Let's try to do a flat ground 1 and try to get some air and some amplitude. Interesting. Way better than I expected. I was able to load up the tail in the right way, but I'm not loading it 1000% because I still need a spin. But because the board is so short and it releases really easy, the front flat ground 360 is easier than my normal snowboard, which is a bit surprising. I actually felt really good on that. I didn't expect that to be so like doable. That's actually pretty, actually pretty fun. I was kind of surprised. Now we got to go searching for some side hits. It's going to allow us to boost and create a bit more amplitude. I think we got a couple on the right side of the run. So we'll find, I don't know what this landing is like, but we have We're gonna try kind of a medium to big front three just because this jump really, oh, this is like a, I don't think that was that good of an effort. Let's try a, oh, in here. Okay, we're gonna go small front three. That was so sick. Right here. Having a little bit of assistance from the ground favors this board if I'm not trying to load the tail up, if I'm just using the pressing against the jump and helping me boost. That was pretty favorable for this board. That was pretty solid. Now we're trying to find a frontside 360 and go a little bigger and see if we can handle a little bit more amplitude. Let's see if there's something on the ride again. Then we're gonna try to go a little bit bigger while not trying to like get bodied and run anybody over. We're gonna go like kind of like medium on this board. Now we're gonna try to go even bigger. Look out, make sure I don't run anybody over. Oh, okay. I definitely notice when I'm not trying to exaggerate the movement, the board can handle the side hit. The spin is pretty fine. When I'm trying to really like be aggressive and really boost through that last one, I feel like there's a lot of diminishing returns because I'm pushing in and I'm just not getting the same response. The small and medium, I would give that 8 out of 10. Now when I'm trying to go bigger and bigger and bigger, I'm gonna probably give that like a 6 just because of my style. I try to put a lot into it. The board gets a little soft and it doesn't respond the way I want, but stuff like that feels pretty awesome. Now let's test the top speed of this board. I'm gonna first just go down this little hill and feel how sketchy it is. Okay, I'm picking up a little speed and I already feel like my board wants to turn. I feel a little heavy on one side versus the other. I feel extremely unstable and we're gonna slow down. Woo! Also here at Keystone, they have yellow jackets. We're not trying to lose our pass. That's part of the challenge. We're gonna go around the corner and let's see if we can pick up a little bit more speed. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're gonna go a little faster. It is definitely bumpy here with a little bit of ice. I feel like I can't really go that fast and I can feel that the board has a lot of friction underneath me because the lack of wax. I definitely feel like it's really easy to max out, both in like comfort and confidence, but it's unwaxed. So I definitely feel a lot of resistance underneath my feet. Even though I'm going downhill, there's like resistance, almost like my board wants to like stop and I want to keep going. I'm gonna give this a 3. For top speed, you don't want to go any faster than that. Now we're gonna try to do a cartwheel, and my prediction is it's gonna be easier because the board's short and it's soft. So let's give this a, okay, a little messy, need to clean it up a little bit, but overall, easier to get the initial oomph, but I don't get the spring out of the board. Let's see if we can try to load it up a little bit more. Okay, a little interesting. Like I said, the initial flick is a lot easier. When I have my normal snowboard, I tend to power the nose to help spring me up and over, and I'm definitely lacking on that on this board. But because it's so small, it balances out. I'm still able to do it. Maybe not the prettiest, but at least we checked it off. As far as doing a cartwheel, I'm gonna give it an 8 because I did it. And if other people were to try it on this board, I think it would actually be a lot easier than a traditional board. Once you have a traditional board, I think that can elevate it, but the barrier to entry, this board makes it easier. Yeah, it's okay. One of my favorite tricks, which is called the tripod, do a turn, try to get in. Okay, yeah, this board is so soft that I could just like press and fresh all day. Okay, I would rate a tripod for playfulness and fun, probably an 8. Let's go. Ooh. Now, as far as the conclusion of this board, super awesome for beginners, maneuverability, slow speeds, this board is super awesome. I would say that this board is designed, and the name of it is LTR, Learn to Ride. Once you're able to like ride and start to turn your snowboard, then I think there's other options that are gonna be able to elevate your snowboarding and be more fun and playful. But to learn to ride, this board's incredible. Now, am I gonna switch my entire career over to this board? No, it doesn't complement my riding style. Is it fun for a day? Yeah, it's fun for a day if I don't, you know, keep crashing. As far as the setup that I'm set up on, I would say that skews this just a little bit, because every time I do a hillside carve, I fall over, and it is a 145. I'm used to a 152, so it's definitely not the ideal setup for me. Can I still ride it? Kind of, right? You've seen I've crashed, I've fallen. Definitely super fun. So if you like this style of video that is very different than you're used to, let me know by liking the video, comment down below your thoughts, and if you have any suggestions on what other videos I should do, I'll definitely check it out. So I'll see you in the next one, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.